Susan is 68 years old. She saved $850,000 in her 401k over her 32 years. She's delayed Social Security like the experts told her to. She's paid off her house. She did everything by the book. 8 years into retirement, walked into an advisor's office. He was shaking. She burned through $510,000 and was terrified she was going to run out of money before she died. So here's the part that should scare you. Susan's not unusual. Her mistake is predictable, common, and completely avoidable. But look, nobody warned her. Not her 401k advisor, not the retirement seminars, not the financial gurus on TV. The advice that destroyed Susan's retirement security is the same advice that millions of people are following right now. Hey folks, I'm Kevin Ross. I'm here with Matt Floyd, and welcome back to Plan Life Right, the podcast where we show you what Wall Street won't.
Yeah, today we're talking through Susan's exact situation. We're going to go over her numbers, where the plan failed, and what she should have done differently so you can see if you're headed down that same path.
So if you're between 55 and 70 with money in a 401k or IRA, thinking that you're all set, probably need to hear this. So let's dive in. All right, Matt, let me paint a picture of Susan for you. At age 60, which was like 2018, she's 8 years away from retirement. She sits down with her 401k advisor, one of those big brokerage firms. I'm not going to name names here. And they run the numbers for her.
Okay, so what's her situation looking like at age 60?
Okay, here's what Susan had at age 60 in 2018. She had a 401k balance of $720,000. She had a small savings account around $15,000. She had a paid off home worth $380,000. She had a pension from her old employer, which is $850 a month that started at age 65, and an estimated Social Security at age 70, which is going to be around $2,800 a month.
Looking good.
Looking pretty good. Her advisor pulls out the calculator. He runs the Monte Carlo simulation, shows her these colorful charts, and he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you've heard this speech. Susan, you're in great shape. With $720,000 in the 4% rule, you can safely withdraw $28,800 a year. That's $2,400 a month. Add your pension at 65, that's another $850. You'll have $3,250 a month until Social Security kicks in at age 70. And then you'll have over $6,000 a month. You're golden.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, that sounds pretty good on paper. You know, what's the problem?
Yeah, here's the problem. It's that the advisor stopped right there. He didn't ask the critical questions. He didn't stress test the plan. He assumed average returns, average spending, average health costs, average everything. But Susan's life wasn't average. So let me walk you through what actually happened year by year, because this is where the theory crashes into reality. Okay, so at age 62, we're now 2020. What a great year that was, right? Susan retires. She's done 32 years at the same company, and they've restructured 3 times. She's exhausted, and honestly, the stress is affecting her health. So she retires at 62, even though the plan said 65.
Yeah, so mistake one, not sticking to the plan.
Yeah, now remember, her pension doesn't start until 65. Social Security was planned for at 70. So Susan's only income source is that 401k. And she needs about $4,500 a month to live. Mortgage was paid off, but there's property tax, insurance, utilities, food, car, healthcare, basic stuff, nothing lavish here.
Yeah.
Her monthly draw from her 401k was $4,500 a month. That's an annual draw of $54,000. Her advisor says, no problem, Susan. That's 7.5% of your balance. A little higher than the 4% rule, but it's only for 3 years until your pension starts. And then that market's been good. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, okay, so she's drawing more than the safe rate, but temporarily. That seems manageable for a short period.
That's right. Except, 2020 happened, right? COVID hits. It hits in March. Everyone remembers the market tanks 34%.
Mhm.
In 5 weeks, Susan's $720,000 drops to $475,000, really like in a matter of days.
Yeah.
Now, it recovered by the end of the year, okay? And that's what everyone focuses on. But here's what they miss. Susan was taking withdrawals during that crash.
Yeah, she's getting hit twice.
Yeah. It's called sequence of return risk. And it's a retirement killer. You know that, Matt.
Yeah.
And when you're pulling money out of a declining account, you're locking in losses. You're selling stocks at the bottom to pay for groceries. So by the end of 2020, Susan's balance isn't $720,000 anymore. Even with the market recovery that everyone talks about, it still was down to $638,000, almost $100,000. She lost $82,000 in 1 year. And she's only 8 months into retirement.
Ouch. But the market did recover. Did things stabilize for her?
Yeah, 2021, age 63. Here's what happened. Susan's obviously shaken from 2020, but her advisor tells her, stay the course. Don't panic. The market's roaring back. You're going to be fine. So she withdrawing the $4,500 a month, $54,000 for the year. The market does well in 2021. Her account does grow a little bit, but by the end of 2021, she's at $660,000. Okay, that's not terrible, right? But she's gained some ground, and she's beginning to breathe a little bit easier. But then Susan's air conditioner dies. Nobody plans for this kind of stuff, right? It's July in Arizona. Same thing in Florida, Texas, it's hot, Louisiana.
Folks in Alaska, you don't have to worry about that.
So she needs a new unit. She needs it now. That's $8,500 that she wasn't planning on. In her car, 2007 Honda Civic, 190,000 miles. The transmission goes. Another $20 or $4,200, I guess. She's got to replace it. She buys a used car for $18,000 because she needs reliable transportation. Then some more unexpected. So those unexpected expenses were $26,500, right?
Yeah, and let me guess, that all came from the 401k. It didn't fall out of the sky and land in the yard, right?
Every penny, Matt. Every penny. So Susan doesn't have the cash flow to handle emergencies. Her only bucket's that 401k. So now she's not withdrawing $54,000 for the year. She's withdrawing $80,500. The end of 2021, her balance, $612,000. She's now lost over $100,000 from her starting point, and she's only been retired for 18 months.
Just off that resume.
Yeah, right? All right, let's go.
What happened? 2022. Now she's 64. Then what happened?
All right, this is the year everything accelerates, right? Susan's anxious now. She sees her balance dropping. She's starting to have some trouble sleeping.
I bet.
She's checking her account every week and watching it go down. And the market crashes again in 2022. One of the worst years for balanced portfolios in decades. Stocks down 18%. Bonds down 13%. There was nowhere to hide. Susan's still pulling $4,500 a month again and again. She's cut back where she can, but she's already living pretty clean.
Right.
She's been pretty frugal. And now she's watching her statements come in month after month, showing red numbers. Monthly checks, January 22, 612,000 was the balance. March 22, 580,000. June, 542,000. September, 510,000. December of 2022, $487. By the end of 2022, Susan's account is at $487,000. She's lost $125,000 that year.
Yeah. So she started at $720,000 just 3 years ago. She's now down to 487. That's a third of her money's gone.
Yeah. Better die quick, right?
You never want to bet on that.
And here's what's crushed Susan's mentality. She didn't spend that money on vacations, no luxury items, no helping out her kids. She spent it on living expenses, emergencies, and market losses that she had no control over. Susan comes to me in January 23. She was at one of our retirement shops. And she's sitting in my office, this capable, intelligent woman who's worked her whole life. And she says, Kevin, I'm terrified. I'm 65 years old. At this rate, I'm going to be broke by 75. What should I do?
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. I mean, what did you tell her?
Don't die. So I told her the truth, man. I said, Susan, you made 5 critical mistakes here, and none of them were about how much you saved. You saved plenty. They were about how you plan to use the money in retirement, right? And then I showed her 5 mistakes on paper because Susan's an engineer, so she needs to see the numbers.
I bet that was a long conversation.
Yeah. Boy, talk about that. You know how that works, right? All right, so here's mistake number 1. She put all her eggs in a volatile basket, right? We see that all the time. Susan's entire retirement income came from one source, 401k, invested in stocks and bonds, a balanced portfolio.
Yep.
There was no guaranteed income. There was no floor. There was no protection. So when the market crashed, she had no choice but to sell at the bottom.
Right.
She had even put just $200,000 into a fixed income annuity that generated $1,200 a month, guaranteed, market crash or not. She could have left her 401k balance alone during that downturn, let it recover without pulling it.
Yeah, it's like that bridge we talked about in our last episode.
Exactly right.
So that annuity, it acts like a buffer, basically.
Exactly. It's like a shock absorber, right?
Yeah.
When the market's down, you live off the guaranteed income. When the market's up, you can pull from the growth. Susan had no buffer. Every dollar she needed had to come from this volatile account, right?
Yeah.
All right. Mistake number 2. She retired 3 years earlier than planned with no bridge income. Now, look, I get it. Susan was burned out. I hear it all the time from friends. Retiring at 62 instead of 65 is completely understandable. But her entire plan was built on working until 65, when her pension kicked in, when she retired early, created a 3-year gap where she was withdrawing 7.5% annually instead of the planned 4%. That's not sustainable, even in good markets.
Yeah, 4% is not even sustainable in good markets.
Yeah.
What is it, 40% of the time? 4% rule fails.
Yeah, it's like getting on an airplane.
Or 4-letter word, it starts with F. It's F-O-U-R, I promise you.
Exactly. Get on an airplane, you got a 60% chance of getting there. You gonna get on an airplane? No.
Never.
That's what 4% rule is in your retirement. So real life people. All right. What Susan needed was a 3-year bridge in her scenario, right? Could have been a short-term income annuity. Yep. Could have been a structured withdrawals from a cash value life insurance, had that been set. Could have been a part-time consulting gig. But she needed something to get her from 62 to 65 without destroying her next day.
All right, I get it now. I'm seeing the theme here. You know, every mistake is about income planning or the lack of it, not about accumulation. It's not about how high did you build your mountain. It was how long is it going to take you to get to the bottom of it.
That's exactly it, man. Susan was great at accumulation. She saved $720,000. That's more than 80%. More than 80% of the Americans will ever save. Right? So she, on paper, looks fantastic. Nobody taught her the distribution strategy. Nobody taught her how to turn that pile of money into reliable, sustainable income that could weather these kind of storms. That's why I say that traditional advice is incomplete. Save a bunch of money. You use a 4% rule that's already proven to fail. Hope for average returns. Really, it's not a plan, man. It's a prayer.
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of prayers go unanswered.
See it all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to pause here for a second. When we come back, I'm going to show you mistakes number 3, 4, 5. And they're even more important in the first two. Okay? Then we're going to completely rewind Susan's story and show you what should have been done at age 60. Same 720, same goals, but a completely different strategy that would have her thriving right now instead of being terrified. Matt and I are going to walk you through this alternative timeline, right? With real numbers, real products, real strategies that advisors can implement tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. This is Plan Like Right. We're going to be right back after. The power of income planning, Matt. It's not about having more money. It's about structuring the money you have so it works harder, lasts longer, and gives you peace of mind. That's what Susie Orman misses. She's right about the principles. Don't touch the principal. Delay Social Security. Do Roth conversions. But she doesn't give you the tools to actually execute these principles, right? She doesn't talk about annuities as income bridges. She doesn't discuss cash value life insurance as tax-free distribution vehicles. She stays in her lanes, investments and budgeting.
Right.
Okay? But retirement income planning requires a bigger toolbox.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Kevin. Why don't more advisors show clients this approach?
You know, I think it's an industry problem. Honestly, Matt, there's really three reasons, okay? Most advisors aren't licensed to sell annuities or life insurance, right? Yep. We run into that quite a bit. They're securities license only. So they can't show clients these solutions, even if they wanted to. And they always tell us, oh, I can beat it. Well, they can't guarantee it, so they can't beat it.
Right.
Okay, reason number two. The financial planning industry has been trained to focus on accumulation and growing assets. That's what they're trained on.
Yeah, it's having that mountain of cash when you retire. Yeah.
Right. That's where the big fees are. $720,000 portfolio charging 1% annually, $200 a year in fees. But if you move $250,000 in an annuity, you already know the answer.
Yep.
That advisor just lost $2,500 a year in ongoing revenue. And don't we hear that all the time?
Advisors, that's why you should have your life and annuity license so you get that commission. Not one of my guys.
Right. And you're doing right by your client. You're not putting them in this, different strategy that hopes the market doesn't correct. All right, here's reason three. It requires different training. Running Monte Carlo simulations on portfolios is easy.
Right.
Software does it. But structuring income plans with multiple products, understanding insurance riders, calculating the break evens, explaining guarantees versus market risk, that takes expertise that, quite frankly, a lot of don't have.
Okay, so Kevin, I know we've got listeners right now in two different camps. There are Susans listening, people who are living this nightmare or they're about to live it, or people that don't even know they're about to live it. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's the worst, right?
And there are advisors listening who are realizing, I've got clients who need this and I don't know how to deliver it. I mean, what do they do?
All right. So if you're a Susan out there and you're sitting there on your 401k or your IRA and you're in your 60s and you're either terrified about running out of money or you hadn't even started planning yet, here's what you need to do right now. Go to planliferight.com. That's planliferight.com. When you land on that page, you're going to see a big button that says, get your prosperity blueprint. Check it, schedule a free consultation. Super easy. Here's what's going to happen on that call. We're going to look at your specific situation, your 401k balance, Social Security estimate, your pensions if you have any, your expenses, your goals, your fears. And we're going to build you a 3-bucket income plan, just like alternative timeline, Susan, that we're going to. How much can you safely convert into guaranteed income? What is your withdrawal strategy? What should it look like? When should you claim Social Security maximum benefit? And how to structure Roth conversions to minimize lifetime taxes. So what your monthly income will look like at 65, 70, 75, we're going to walk you through it with and give you a written plan, a roadmap, not a sales pitch, a real strategy that you can implement whether you work with us. Okay, fair?
Yeah.
There's no cost, there's no obligation. Look, it's just clarity, it's peace of mind. Because here's the truth. The decisions you make in your 60s will determine whether you thrive or just survive in your 70s and 80s. Susan learned that the hard way. You don't have to, okay? PlanLifeRight.com. Schedule your prosperity blueprint.
And folks, I just want to add, I've sat in on these consultations. I've seen people come in confused, scared. I mean, most of them are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I've watched them leave with confidence. One woman told me, I've been losing sleep for 2 years about this. In 1 hour, you gave me a plan that I can believe in. And, that's what this is about, I think. We're peace of mind, being able to sleep at night, having that confidence, having a real written plan.
Yeah. Now, you're a financial advisor and you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, my clients need this. I need to be able to deliver this level of planning. I got a very direct message for you. You're leaving money on the table. You're losing clients to advisors who can do this.
Yeah, my advisors.
Yeah, there you go. And you're doing your clients a disservice, man. That's the most important. You're not doing right by them. By only showing them the one side of retirement plan. And I'm not saying this to be harsh. I'm saying it because it's true. I know it's true because advisors call me every week saying, Kevin, I just lost a $2 million client to an advisor who showed them an income annuity strategy that I never heard of. I've been doing this for 30 years. I worked with advisors. They tell me this all the time. Listen, it doesn't have to be that way, man. Go to advisorrescue.net right now. Advisorrescue.net. And here's what we're going to do for you. Our complete advisor income planning system includes product training, how to position indexed annuities, fixed annuities, index universal life insurance, and retirement income. This isn't generic training, specific carriers, specific writers, specific illustrations that close cases. This is what we do here at Advisor Rescue. The 3-bucket framework, the exact system that we use to structure retirement income plans. You're going to be able to explain this to clients in 15 minutes and have them nodding their heads, just like Matt's doing right now, that says, this makes sense.
See it all the time. Their necks hurt when they leave these meetings.
Word for word scripts, what to say when a client says, but I've heard annuities are bad. What to say when they ask about fees, how to handle the Susie Orman objection. We give you the exact language here. We've got a case study left, so real client examples, real numbers, Susan's story. We've got 30 more just like it. You're going to be able to say, let me tell you about a client we worked with, okay? We've got client-facing presentations, one-pagers, comparison charts, everything you need to communicate this strategy without reinventing the wheel. Got live coaching. This isn't a course you buy and never finish. We do live one-on-one group. We've got some group coaching that's coming up. Mm-hmm. You bring your cases, we're going to give you feedback. If you need it now, we can do that one-on-one. Matt's doing that in our team that can role play through the conversations. This is hands-on stuff, man. Our next training that we're going to do in a few weeks, we're going to cap it to 20 advisors that are looking to do this, some real coaching. If you need it before then, reach out to us. We're going to do a one-on-one conversation because it's important. These are real-life things that are happening right now.
Right. These
aren't webinars where you're one of 500 people, you're afraid to talk. It's here, and here's the other thing that I'll promise you. You implement our system, you'll close bigger cases. That's period. I've been doing this for too long. I know what works because you're going to be solving problems your competitors cannot solve. Remember, advisorrescue.net. Schedule your advisor consultation. Let's make you the income planning expert in your market area.
Yeah, and Kevin, I'm going to add this for the advisors because you guys are the ones I talk to all day long. The markets are volatile. Clients are scared. Interest rates are uncertain. But you know what's not uncertain? Guaranteed income. You know what's in a guarantee. It's right there on paper. And clients will pay you well to deliver certainty. And that's your competitive advantage right there.
All right, folks. That's Susan's story. That's the $180,000 mistake. Actually, it's way more than $180,000 when you factor in lost income over her lifetime. Don't be Susan at age 65. Realize you made 5 critical mistakes that you cannot undo. Be alternative time, Susan. Build the plan now. Structure your income now. Make the smart moves in your 60s so your 70s and 80s are golden. For consumers, planliferight.com. Get your prosperity blueprint. For advisors, advisorrescue.net. Become the income planning expert. Matt, been another heavy one, right?
Yeah.
But man, this stuff matters. This is what we do each and every day.
Yeah. It really does, Kevin. Susan's story is playing out right now for thousands of people. If we can help even just a handful of people avoid that pain, then this is worth it.
Yep, it's absolutely correct. And thanks everyone for sticking with us today. Remember, life happens fast, so plan your life right.